The GeoScoop.
Hi guys, and welcome to the GeoScoop. My name is Raul, and I'll be your host, bringing you the latest scoop in the world of geocaching. In this episode, we're going to cover how to hide a cache and getting it published, geocaching etiquette, and we'll take a look inside of our GeoBags. We hope to bring you a fun and informative show that you will enjoy. Now, GeoFus, can you please introduce our first segment?
It's now time for some geocaching how-to.
In this installment of Geocaching How-To, we'll be covering the basics on how to hide and publish a cache. The first thing we want to do is find a suitable location. I've picked out 3 to show you. The first, a parking lot, with a lamppost with a skirt that you can lift up and down and a big green electrical box. The second one is a park with a baseball field, bleachers, a fence, electrical box, and hedges around it. A lot of potential hiding spots. And finally, a hiking trail with a lot of fallen trees, pine needles, pine cones, clusters of bushes. A lot of cover and concealment provided by Mother Nature. Now, once we've done that, we want to make sure that somebody hasn't already put a cache there. So we're going to check the map and make sure that there is not a cache within 1/10 of a mile. Once we've done that, we can narrow down the options. Now, after I checked the map, I found out that there is a cache already near the baseball field, too close for comfort. So that's out of the question. That leaves the parking lot and the hiking trail as our possibilities. So next we got to contemplate cache size. Now I've got a couple to show you. The first is this one, a 35mm canister. You could put a logbook in here and possibly some small swag. This would be great to put underneath the lamppost cover. The second one is one of these magnetic hide-a-keys. It already has some magnets on, nice little spot. You can put some swag in there and a logbook. Great for that green electrical box. Now another one that I have for you is one of these really long candy dispensers. It's great because you can put the logbook in there. In this one you could even put a pencil and some swag, and that would be great for bushes and things of the like. And finally, what we have here is a big ammo can. Now, I'm not too fond of lamppost caches, so that kind of throws away the 35mm canister. And I want to get a little more creative, so I'm gonna get rid of the hide-a-key and the big green electrical box. So these two would be great for the hiking trail. The location that I've chosen actually calls for a big cache. I want people to be able to trade swag, put travel bugs inside and such. So I'm going to get rid of the candy dispenser. That leaves us with an ammo can. Now, what to put inside of an ammo can? Well, obviously I want to put in a logbook and some kind of writing utensil. What I'm utilizing is one of these waterproof logs. So if water does get inside, I'm going to be sure that it's not going to get all soggy. So you'll always be able to write in it. If you're going to put another different type of logbook in there, put it inside of a plastic bag. But remember, these things are waterproof. These are not. Leave these outside. They'll poke through the bag. Then I'm going to put some swag in there. I've got one of these Support Our Troops wristband. Looks like a little pencil holder. I've got a little movie coaster in there as well. So I'm going to put those in there. And I've got a few travel coins that I'm going to put in, as well as a first to find prize travel bug that has not been activated yet. So once I've got my cache ready to go, we're going to head out on the trail and hide this baby. Alright guys, we've chosen this nice little hiking trail to hide our cache. We've already made sure that there's not another cache hidden within 1/10 of a mile from here, so we're good on that part. The next thing we want to do is find a good hiding spot for it. There's a nice stack of logs sitting right here, and there's a hole right in between all of them. That looks like a great place. Not a lot of bushwhacking required. I mean, it's right off the trail, so it's not going to be too difficult to find. So I'm going to take my cache and stick it right in that hole. Now, it is a little bit visible from the trail, so what I want to do now is I want to give it a little more camouflage. Well, there's plenty of it around. I mean, there's all these leaves and sticks. So I'm gonna just spread them on top of it to kind of conceal it a little bit more. Now you can barely see it. All right, we're good on that part. Now we gotta get the coordinates. I've got my GPS ready, and I wanna look at it for a couple of seconds, make sure that my coordinates aren't jumping around. I wanna get as accurate a reading as I can. Once I get there, I'm gonna go ahead and hit my mark waypoint, and I'm gonna save 2 or 3 of them. I wanna make sure that I have an accurate reading. All right, so I've saved my waypoints, we're good to go. The last thing I wanna do before I leave is I wanna make sure that I'm giving as much information to the cacher as possible. The individual that's coming to find this might need a hint. So, all we know there's a stack of logs, so we could make a reference to that. I mean, it's a couple of feet off the trail. All right, there's a bench not too far. So take mental note of all of that. Next is, who can find it? Is it kid friendly? Can pets come with you? Can you find it 24 hours a day? Finally, are there any hidden dangers? There's no real thorns around here, so we're good on that. Never know, there might be snakes out here, so there's always that potential, especially in that nice little dark spot. And finally, when I was coming into the trail, I noticed a nice sign that said, watch out for ticks. So definitely want to put that tick attribute. It is easy to find, it's not too far off the trail, so it is kid friendly. So I'll make sure of that. All right guys, we're gonna head back home so we can actually publish our cache. Now that we've hidden our cache, it's time to get it published. I've already logged on to the geocaching.com home screen. From here, we're going to go to the Play drop-down menu and click on Hide and Seek a Cache. Then we're going to go to the Hide a Cache column and click on the online form link. Under the New Cache Listings page, we're going to go to the cache name and enter the name we want to give the cache. Don't worry about the cache placed by or date placed fields, for they will auto-populate. Now we have to choose the cache type. We're going to place a traditional cache. If you want to know more about the rest of the cache types, simply click on the link here. Now we have to agree to the terms of use agreement and read and understand the cache listing requirements and guidelines. Click continue. Next, we're going to enter the coordinates. In the grayed out box, you'll see the 4 acceptable ways of entering the coordinates into the field. Once you have entered the coordinates, click on Confirm Coordinates on Map. Also click on the location and the state. Here we can add additional waypoints like parking and trailheads. We have none at this point, so we'll continue on. Here we're going to do a quick cache summary and a description. If we have any hints that we want to give other cachers, simply click on the Yes Radial button and enter your hint. Click Continue. Next, we choose the cache container size. We know we're hiding an ammo can, so we'll go to a medium-sized cache. Next, the overall difficulty. It's not too difficult to find, but it's not really easy. 1.5 should work. The overall terrain, it's not exactly wheelchair accessible, but it's also not a moderate hike, so we'll go with a 1.5. Now we can choose our attributes. Remember we found that tick sign right before we went in? We'll click on ticks. But you can take dogs. It'll be great for a little walk with kids. Also, you can take your bicycle. It's less than a mile. So you can actually go through and select all the ones that apply. Once you've got that, we'll click Continue. Now, if we wanted to write something to the reviewer who will be publishing our cache, this is where we would do it. We have none right now. If we weren't quite ready to publish our cache, we'd hit Save and Exit. But we want to preview our cache and get it published, so we'll click on Preview. This is what our cache will look like once it is published. Scroll down, ensure that everything is correct. If you have to make any changes, just click on the Edit Listing button. If everything looks good, just click on the Yes, the cache is in place and ready to be found, and click Submit. And now you are done. The cache is just waiting to be reviewed and published. And it is just that simple to hide and publish a cache.
GeoEtiquette. Pinky out.
Alright guys, so I was taking a walk in one of our local parks, and this is what I came across. This cache was placed just a few feet off the trail, and the last cacher, it appears, did not do a very good job in camouflaging it. Now in the description, it does ask for you to go ahead and ensure that you replace it as you found it and make sure that it's camouflaged. Well, this brings us to our next segment, and that's GeoEtiquette. Now somebody has gone through the trouble of not just placing the cache, but from the looks of it, they spent quite a bit of money. It's an official geocache. It even says geocache embossed on the lid. And from the looks of the inside, they've spent quite a bit of money on little trinkets, or at least people that have come to find it. So what we want to do is make sure that we replace it the way that we found it for other cachers to enjoy. And it looks like whoever hid it actually did a decent job. From the looks of it, there's a few sticks, pine cones, bark sitting around. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ensure that we're putting some of the stuff back on there so that muggles don't come across it and think that it's trash. Believe it or not, just a couple of minutes of taking some of the pine needles that are around, some of the little bark, and everything else will make a big difference. Now as geocachers, we know what to look for, so a nice big pile of pine needles, pine cones, and sticks is a pretty dead giveaway, especially when the coordinates get you pretty close. So guys, next time you're out on the hunt, when you come across a cache, make sure that you replace it the way you found it, and if it was out in the open, make sure it's a little bit more camouflaged for others to enjoy.
Inside the GeoBag.
It's now time to take a look inside of our GeoBags, and today we're going to be looking at a couple of items. The first is a pair of tweezers, about $2 at your local drugstore. They're great for retrieving logbooks out of nanos without tearing up the logs. My advice is just pick a pair up and stick them in your bag. Now we're going to be taking a look at flashlights, and I've brought along a couple. The first is a mag light. These are durable, resistant, waterproof. They'll last you a long time. I always keep one in my car. They range about $8 for the AA model to about $20 for the 3D cell battery one. The only drawback that I have is that it gives you an inconsistent light beam. So when you're looking for that FTF in the middle of the night, there's a spot right in the middle of the beam where it's a little bit darker than the rest. So I have it in the car, but it only works in a pinch. The next one that I have for you is this. It's a surefire flashlight that a lot of law enforcement and military personnel use. They're great because they have a consistent, bright beam. The only problem is the price. They can range in the hundreds of dollars for a simple model, and the batteries can run about $10 just for the pair. Then we have another military flashlight that you could get at any surplus store or even your local sporting goods store. It has a clip on the back, a swiveling head. It has 4 different lights. Your regular white one, a blue one, a red one, and an infrared one. Uses AA batteries. The only issue is that they're about $80 a piece. Now I like this one because I can put it underneath my arm and manipulate the head so that I can sign my logbook, as well as I can set it down somewhere and change the angle of the light so that I have both hands free. And in a pinch, I can always put it on my bag or on my belt while I'm walking around. That way I have another hand. And finally, we have the new LED small flashlights. You can get this anywhere where they sell camping stuff, at your outfitter store, your sporting goods store, even your Mega Mart. They have light emitting diodes inside, and they take about AA to AAA batteries. Sometimes you can get them at your local gas station for about $5 and as much as 20. This is one of those famous Coleman flashlights, and what I like about them is that they have a nice bright beam. They use cheap batteries and they're cheap to get. This is what I would suggest for the beginner. It's just a regular simple little flashlight, light emitting diode, gives you a nice consistent beam. Well guys, now that you know what to look for in a flashlight and tweezers, we hope that this helps you get a few more tools in there that'll make your geocaching experience that much better.
And now we're proud to bring you the whole GeoScoop.
In this episode, we bring you a GeoScoop from New York State. According to TimesUnion.com, starting on May 28th, Memorial Day 2012, there will be 44 caches up for grabs in the Saratoga Capital District Region's parks. There will be prizes for those who find 35 of the 44 hidden caches. The competition goes on through November 12th, Veterans Day 2012. Geocaching passports can be picked up at participating parks and sites, or you can download them at www.nysparks.com. For more on the story, click on the links below. Now, let's take a look inside the mail can. Ed, aka PhysEd, has a suggestion for the show. He wrote, "I think it would be great to have a segment on different types of plants and how to recognize them while in the hunt." Well, Ed, that is a great suggestion and we thank you for it. We love the idea and we'll be adding a segment on how to identify poisonous plants in a future show. And I know some of you need to pay close attention to that one, Doug. So keep watching. In this episode, we cover the basics of hiding and publishing a cache, geocaching etiquette, and we took a look inside of our GeoBag. Before you rush out the door to hide or find your next geocache, be sure to check out our blog at geoscoop.blogspot.com for the latest information and sneak peeks on upcoming shows. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Your input is always welcome, so please send us your ideas, stories, and latest achievements, and we will do our best to put them on the show. Email us at GeoCachingFus@gmail.com. I am Raul, and this is the GeoScoop. See you in the hunt.